Well, hello everyone, welcome back to the GeekBlend. I'm Jeff, and welcome to another Wandavision review. This is episode 3. The first 2 episodes came out last week. My review for that is on the channel currently if you guys want to go check that out, and then come back and watch this. I will also say that there will be spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen the show yet, and you want to go in spoiler-free, go watch and come back and watch the review once you finish the show. So let's go ahead and get into this. It does pick up right after last week left off, where Wanda is pregnant. Like, she's going, like, moving along quickly. She progresses her pregnancy in the show from the beginning to the point where she has the babies in the show. That's how fast she progresses her pregnancy. Her and Vision are kind of freaking out. Vision gets the doctor. He goes outside to greet the doctor. He greets his neighbor who's trimming his hedges. He waves to Vision, and Vision says, "What? Hi," and he goes back inside. There's a reason that's important. I will talk about that in a minute. So the doctor comes in, examines Wanda, and it's like, oh, yep, you're pregnant, all right. It's like, it's still a sitcom thing, but this time it's like 70s focus. So it's in color, their clothes, and the surroundings, everything is 70s attire, 70s like style, everything. So the doctor leaves, Vision escorts him out and tells him, please not tell anybody else about this, because he doesn't want anybody to know. Because they're trying to still keep it a secret that they're different from everybody else in town. Vision does not want to know what's going on at all. And we'll get to what's going on in the end because they do reveal a little bit what's happening at the end. When Vision tells the doctor bye, the doctor tells him he's going on vacation to Barbados with his wife to get away. He looks over at his neighbor again who's cutting the hedges, and instead of cutting the hedges now, he's cutting through the concrete barrier that's separating their houses. And Vision's like, are you okay? He's like, yep, I'm doing good there. But he says something like, hey, I think you let the hedges get away from you there. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry about that. And he continues to cut through the concrete. Like something's wrong with him. Or he's glitched out or something. At first, that's what I thought. So Vision goes back in. Wanda's even bigger. She's even farther along in her pregnancy. They put together a crib in the room. She paints a mural on the wall with a stork. She puts together a mobile above the bed made out of butterflies, and the butterflies come to life, and apparently she makes that happen. Every time something's wrong with the baby, like when she has Braxton Hicks contractions in the kitchen, everything starts going haywire, the lights go off. She actually gets the power out for the whole neighborhood because of her magic when she's actually in pain and having contractions. So she tells Vision to go get the doctor. He goes to get the doctor, and then Geraldine shows up from the last episode. They start talking. They sit down to talk. And this whole time, Wanda's trying to cover the pregnancy. At first, she did it with a coat when she opened the door to meet Geraldine. But when she goes into the kitchen to get a bucket, that's where Geraldine came over because all of her pipes burst in her house because of what Wanda did with her magic. Everything burst everywhere, the electricity, everything. So while Wanda's in the kitchen, she's having contractions. The coat keeps changing. She takes the coat off, and Geraldine comes in. She grabs a bowl of fruit to cover up her pregnant belly, and then her and Geraldine go in the front room. They start to have a conversation, and then we realize that the stork from the room that she painted is now alive, and it's walking through the house. She's trying to get rid of it with her magic. It does not leave. So she's trying to keep Geraldine's focus on her and away from the stork. Finally, the stork goes back to the room. Wanda goes in labor. She has twins. Right after she gives birth to the first baby, the doctor and Vision show up, and then she has another baby. He's like, oh my God, there's another baby coming. So they have another baby. It's twins. He goes outside to talk to the doctor again. And she's talking to Geraldine, and they're putting the babies in the crib, and she's talking about her brother, Pietro, and Geraldine starts thinking about it. You can see something in her face, like thinking, and she's like, wasn't he killed by Ultron? And like Wanda's look on her face, you can tell is like, what did you say? She's asking her, what did you just say? And she's like, oh, I was telling you how beautiful you look, how the babies are amazing. And she's like, no, what did you say? And you can tell she's starting to get agitated. While outside, Vision is talking to the doctor, and the doctor's leaving. The neighbor, and the nosy neighbor, played by Catherine Hahn from last week's episode, who was with the guy cutting the hedges, and they're having a conversation about him. They're whispering. Like, no, you can't tell him. We can't be, they're just whispering and having a really weird conversation. And Vision starts to figure out what they're talking, or what's going on, and they're trying to keep something a secret. He's like, don't you know what's going on? Like, the guy's like, don't you know what's happening? What we're in, or what this is? And he's like, what? And he's like, oh. And then she's like, no, don't tell him. Or she's like, no, nothing. And she, like, this macrame won't do itself. And she leaves, and he's like, nothing, neighbor. See you later. Like, they know something's wrong. And what happening inside with Wanda and Geraldine, she notices there's a necklace around Geraldine's neck, and we realize it's the sword logo. Sword is sentient, World Observation and Response Department. It was introduced in Captain Marvel before Avengers Endgame. It is actually a counterterrorism and intelligence agency in Marvel Comics. It's been around for quite a while. It's kind of like a counterpart of S.H.I.E.L.D., so we know that Monica Rambeau has been sent in by S.W.O.R.D. So the next thing you know, we cut to the real world, I guess. And we see like what looks like a weird generated field. And we see the outside of this neighborhood. It's Westview. And things are blocking it off. And something comes flying through, like crackling through this like energy field. And it's Monica Rambeau. Geraldine. Wanda got rid of her and got her out of there. She knew what was going on. And then we realize that she's outside. There's a barrier around this town. And I'm guessing Wanda has created this. And they're trying to get in to figure out what the hell's going on. So now we know that there's something going on, that most likely Wanda has created this and brought Vision back to life, because Vision's figuring out things aren't what they seem. Like he says in the episode, like, something's not right about this. Like, do you not feel it? There's something off here. It's weird. Something's off. Like, he knows something's going on. So he is not just a figment of her imagination. He's actually there. So I believe she brought him back to life, because in the comic book, she has the power to bring people back to life. So I believe she resurrected Vision. I mean, there's a lot of things to get into. I kind of have an idea of where the show is going, what's going to happen. I'm not going to say anything to spoil anything. I kind of read a little bit into a few things that people were talking about on some other live streams that I caught onto. And I kind of dug into, and I kind of think I know where it's going. But like I said, I'm not going to spoil it here just in case I am right. But I do think these are going to continue. So like next week, we're going to be in the 80s, and then we're going to be in the 90s, and in the sitcom settings. Things are going to get worse and worse and progress, and she's going to have to get rid of more people that are trying to come in and invade her space that she's created. So that's when it's going to happen going forward, I believe. So next week's going to be interesting. The show is very unique, very weird, very interesting show. It's pretty good. It's growing on me, and if it actually does have a really good payoff at the end, it'll be worth all this weirdness and awkward stuff that's happening in the show. But I do think if it's going in the direction I think it's going in, I think the payoff will be worth it. So if you guys are watching this and you're like, what the hell's going on? I'm not sure if I want to watch it, which from what I've seen a lot of that from people that are not sure about this thing. But if it's going to have a payoff, like I think it's going to have, I think it's going to be worth watching. So definitely check it out. I would recommend watching it. This episode was much better, I believe, than the last two episodes. I really was more intrigued because we were starting to see cracks in the reality that is happening within what's, the reality that we're seeing. We're starting to see cracks in that. Of course, with the two neighbors talking, like out of character, and then Vision noticing things happening, and then Monica Rambeau, like, talking about Ultron to her, about her brother who was killed by Ultron, and then her getting rid of him. Like, so there's a lot of things like starting to kind of come into place. So we shall see what happens in the next episode. It's going to be very interesting, but I will recommend it. It's not like I said, it's not like amazing, but it's not horrible. I'd give it like a 7 or an 8, 7.5 maybe out of 10. I think Elizabeth Olsen does a fantastic job in this role. Catherine Hahn, the little she was in the last two episodes, she steals the spotlight. She's a really good actress. She didn't have much to do in this one. The girl that plays Monica Rambeau, Tiona Paris, I believe Tiona Paris, I believe is her name, who plays Monica Rambeau. I really enjoyed her character as well, so I'm interested to see where that goes. But it's going to be interesting. There's more things going to be happening. Like, if you look into the cast, there are a couple things that pop up and you're like, wait a minute, I know that character from something else. So yes, it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes and where it all pays off and where it all leads to, with the big ending that it will end up leading into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, is what we've been told. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So stick around and we'll figure out what happens. So come back here every Friday and check out my reviews for Wandavision, and we will talk about it on Casual Rage on Raging Rhino's channel. If you're seeing this review when it comes out, it'll be right after that, about 7:15 Central Standard Time. If you missed that, you can come by the High Ground on Saturday night here on my channel at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time with me, Raging Rhino, and Open Airlock Policy Tim. We will talk about this show as well. So if you guys want to come over there and check that out, we will be going into a more in-depth discussion. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Leave a like on the video. It does help us out. Subscribe if you're new and you want to see some more, and hit the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date on everything we release here on the Geek Blend. Links down below in the description for our social media, our Discord, and all the ways you guys can support the channel. And speaking of channel supporting, I want to say thank you to all the people who are currently supporting the channel, whether you're channel members, whether you're Patreon, Subscribe Star, or direct donations. Anything you guys have done to help this channel, we really, really do appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to all of you. Your names will be scrolling in the outro video like normal. Thank you guys. I'm Jeff, this is the Geek Blend, and remember, if you geek about it, we speak about it. See you guys next time.